Welcome to Season 3 of Off Script with Sam Monk, Senior Leader of Equippers Church. We're talking about what's worked, what hasn't, and leadership lessons from the journey. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back. Hey, we're in the middle of a series of episodes where I've brought my wife in, Kathy, been married 30 years. And
a long time.
A long time. Yeah, 30 years goes really quick.
It does.
Married.
Like yesterday.
21-20. And it's just like gone so quickly. But the adventure that we've been on, we're just so thankful to God for. And she is just an amazing person, woman of God. And we just want to unpack marriage ministry, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on parenting, because we've now got 3 adult kids.
Yeah.
Got a 24-year-old, got a 22-year-old, and a 17-year-old. 2 got married in the last 2 years.
Yeah, praise God.
Praise God, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so going through that journey has been big. And so we want to open up some of that, and hopefully it'll be a blessing to you wherever you're listening from. But let's talk a little bit about marriage ministry. Some of the things that we've had to navigate, how we've made decisions on things, when it comes to involvement, what we do, what we don't do. It'd be really good to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think when we got married, we decided beforehand, just understanding each other's role. Yeah. I remember having young children. We were in agreement with, I'm their mum. I'm looking after them. And I loved the whole motherhood, like when they were little babies, till now. But it's actually being in agreement with one another. And I think we butted heads when there was sometimes a miscommunication or a forgetting of what did we agree on. Yeah. Yeah. And
so it's always going back to what do we agree on.
Yeah.
I think big thing is when we first got married, Kathy was involved, especially in the music worship ministry.
Yeah.
I was involved in youth ministry. Some couples think you need to be together in different ministry roles and departments, but we found the releasing of one another into those ministries actually help bring life. And
yeah, I agree. I think releasing and not resenting. I think making sure that you're on the same page with releasing your husband or wife to do what God's called them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the priority in different seasons as well? Naturally, when we had young kids, it takes a lot of focus and energy, and just going, okay, how are we going to prioritize them in that space while doing what God's called us to do from a church perspective as well.
Yeah, and making it fun. I think we just made that whole, every season has to be fun.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that I had to make a decision on. This is fun.
Yeah.
And the girls saw it as fun. They saw it as a bad thing if we weren't going to go to Sunday night church or something like that. But, making the call while you're overtired, you need to rest. And so, I just made it a thing that everything that we do is going to be fun and we're going to have a laugh.
Yeah, and I think this is a big thing, because a lot of people are waiting for the next season, but they don't enjoy the season they're in. It's like, I can't wait till they're out of nappies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait till they're at school. I can't wait till, it's the next. They're always looking forward to the next season, but they don't enjoy the season. I think one thing that really helped us was whatever season we're in, we're going to enjoy that season, because once it passes.
Oh, it totally passes. It goes really fast.
Yeah.
And people used to say that to me when I was a young mum, and I used to think, this feels like eternity, when they're a baby, but it goes just like that.
And then you go, I missed that baby season.
What am I going on
when
about?
you're in it, you didn't really enjoy it. And so one thing we made a decision right early on is we're going to enjoy every season we're in. And I love the thought as we really navigated early on is when God called us, he wasn't surprised that we had kids.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, hey, no, I didn't realize you're going to have kids. And when God calls us, He calls us with our kids in mind.
Yeah.
So our kids are actually part of the call, not separate to the call. Because I think a lot of people can see kids as a hindrance to their call. Oh, I have to look after the kids. But it's the way that God develops us. It's like parenting. Ooh, we think we are raising kids, but
they're raising us.
They're raising us.
Definitely.
They deal with your own selfishness and just that whole side of things has been a big thing. Is the call is like the call of building the church. I often say, a lot of young leaders going, we're going to build the church, but we don't realize the church is actually building us.
Yeah. So true.
The church is building us, and we'll say, yeah, man, we're sowing into the church. But man, what a blessing the church has been to our family.
Very much so.
Raising our kids in the house of God.
A church village to raise your kids.
Yeah.
Your family.
Yeah, just the people around, people who share the same values. Sometimes your kid, I remember taking my oldest to swimming lessons, and I can swim. I learned to swim at a young age. I can teach swimming to a level.
Not me.
Not my wife. She didn't learn to swim.
I learned how to swim when I was old. But anyway, it's another story.
That's a good story. Maybe we'll tell it in a few moments. But just on that, I was trying to teach her. She wouldn't listen to me. As soon as I put her in a pool with other people the same age as her, it was amazing how she wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with church as well. As a parent, you can be, you need to learn from me, but just putting them in the right environments,
You're
the
so
growth
right.
that takes place there. But now to your story about swimming, because that was a big thing. Actually, it was a big thing for you. Let's go there on that one.
Okay, so I used to make excuses about not going into the swimming pool with you.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to I'm 34 and I have 3 children. And they probably could save me if I was drowning. Anyway, so a guy in our church was learning how to swim. He adult swim classes. So Sam suggested me to join that adult swim class. So I did that. But what that taught my kids was, Mum, it's not too late. And so I kind of had to model that to my children.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed.
Because as a 6-year-old, you almost drowned, and that put unhealthy fear in you.
Like a fear of going into anything deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this was more about you overcoming your fear because you had talked about it, and the girls would go, Mum, why don't you get in the water?
Yeah, and I'd use the excuse, I just straightened my hair, but that was lies. Anyway, so.
Yeah. And so seeing you face your fear was a big thing for our kids. And that, but going back to celebrating every season is really important, because even when it comes to church life, ministry, marriage, we've found that to be really important. There's some seasons where it's like, oh man, this is heavy, it's busy, we're carrying this, we've got these things to really work through. And sometimes we've asked the question, just comes the question, well, if we weren't doing this, what would we be doing?
Yeah.
And, there is a danger in our heads sometimes as we can think we're carrying things that other people don't have to work through, but just going, if I weren't doing this, still, I could be in the corporate world, I could be doing different things, and there'll be a different level of, other burdens attached to that. And so just going, no, God's called us to that.
Yeah.
And, there's been times just we've intentionally gone through and listed all the things that we can give God thanks for. In fact, that's part of our habit as a family.
We talk about, just counting it all joy. It's not cliche in our family, it's actually done. We think about all the good things God has done in the past. We go to God's word. We've made sure that faith is the central key in our whole family. I mean, our girls have found their own faith in God, which is amazing. But I think counting all the good things God has done is really important. It sounds simple, but when you actually do it, it outnumbers all the bad things that you go through.
Yeah, you did a great message recently just on making sure you're counting the right things.
Yeah, we're not counting wrong. It's like, I need to count my blessings. I need to count it all joy. I need to, number my days so I realize my days are numbered, but I need to number my days.
So you get a heart of wisdom.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And great message just in terms of, because we do, it's easy to count the wrong things.
Oh, it is.
Count our hardships, count the things that are against us.
And I do exaggerate sometimes when we have an argument. I'll go, I've told you 1,000,000 times. Well, we know that's not true because that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But we can, count how many times he hasn't taken the rubbish out, or count how many times he hasn't said sorry. But I think it's time now to reframe our mind and count what God has done, all the good things he has done.
Yeah, and I think that's been a big thing to help us recalibrate, because you can get overwhelmed by a whole lot of things, and you can be counting all the problems you got, you can be counting everything that's against you. And one thing that we turn to in a lot of places is, man, let's count our blessings, man. How blessed are we to get to be able to do this, to be able to serve Jesus? And I think that's helped just create a ministry perspective that our kids have wanted to join in. They don't live from a place of resentment.
Yeah, totally.
It's just like, man, what a privilege. We get to do this, and how we get to do it, and the opportunities that God's opened up just because, because of how we've served in that space. It's been a big thing.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to model, I think not just through the good times, but when we're going through a crisis, modeling to the kids, we can get through this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not being fake at home, because I love what in the Psalms it says, I will lead with integrity from my house, from home.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key point, is whatever's going on at home should be matching what's happening in church.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to put on a fake, But I just think it's really important to match what you say, match what you're going through, because kids see right through you.
Yeah. And by God's grace, it's a testimony, not because we're awesome.
We're not perfect.
in that, but all our girls are following Jesus, love Jesus, involved in ministry.
Yeah.
And that. And we've always said, if it's not going on at home, don't export it.
Yeah, totally.
If what I'm saying on stage is not matched by what's happening in the home, that's where often a dissonance can come into a kid's life. Hey, that doesn't quite match. Yeah. And, one thing we've determined is to make sure that we keep ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
Accountable in that space.
Especially when I'm driving, eh? Yeah,
Watch your driving.
Yeah.
Watch out if she's on the road.
I know.
Message you. No,
I've been redeemed. Yeah.
Just that whole thing of let's keep one another accountable. If we're teaching something that we're not living out in a private space, we need to make sure that there's no gap there. And I think, when you go through a trial, your kids look at your response. It's not that you're going through a trial; it's how you respond.
So true.
That is the key thing. And one thing, I picked up a phrase years ago, and my girls not really well because I use it quite often at home.
Yeah, it should be like framed in our house.
Especially because when siblings have arguments and they react to one another, and so often we can live out a reaction. And I picked up this phrase. I forget where I picked it up, but a reaction to an error creates a bigger error. And so often things go on in home, and we justify our response to the error of somebody else. But they did this, they did that. But a reaction to an error creates a bigger error. So we've used that quite a bit just to keep one another accountable when it comes to personal responsibility, is take responsibility for your actions. Just because they did that does not justify your response. And so I don't know if you want to talk about that, because our girls know that really well.
Oh, it's actually that phrase there has actually carried them in their high school years when things have gone wrong in high school with relationships, whatever it is. They've actually gone back to that phrase, a reaction to an error. And they'll even remind me, which is really annoying. Anyways, but you're very wise, Sam. And I can be very petty, but that is so true. A reaction to an error creates a bigger error. And we know, God has called us to be wise.
Yeah, well, just even in that, siblings know how to push your buttons.
Oh, they do.
They know how to get you mad. And so, sometimes they can say nasty things to one another. And one thing we've said to our kids is, hey, if your sibling says something mean to you, it's not about you. Because our judgments tell us more about us than what we're judging. And that whole thing is like, hey, just leave it. They're only saying that mean thing because they don't feel good about themselves. Just leave it alone. Walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. Don't react to it. Don't react. And I love the fact that the girls have picked this up. In fact, my oldest was about 11 years old, and this boy in the playground said something really mean and nasty to her, made her want to cry. But she thought about it, and she goes, no. She turned to him and she said, Thomas, you're only saying that because you don't like yourself. And the boy actually was hit by it. He took 2 steps back and he goes, do you know what? You're right. You're actually right. He goes, my mum and dad have just got divorced recently. And my dad's trying to take all my mum's money. And also I've just been to the doctor and I'm in danger of having diabetes, to which my 11-year-old said to him then after that, can I pray for you? But I love the fact that she could have reacted in that moment and said something nasty back, but she said, you're only saying that because you don't like yourself.
Yeah.
And I think in families and marriages, how often do we go on a downward spiral? I think,
totally.
I think about some arguments we've had how do we start this argument? What are we arguing about?
It's always over something minor.
Yeah.
Like you didn't put the cheese back in the fridge or something like that. Then it turns into, well, you're just like the worst person in the world,
Yeah. And it escalates in the down. And so we've said in our marriage, let's try and de-escalate because reactions escalate, and let's make sure.
I've improved, haven't I?
Oh, we've all improved. We've improved.
Yes, amen. You have
well,
too.
I think, when it comes down to it, for the men listening out there, I think the challenge is always to be the first to acknowledge where you got it wrong. It's
amen.
not covering
That's a good word.
the other person's behavior, but I think men lead first in terms of, hey, I'm sorry I got this wrong. I'm sorry I got that. And so taking ownership. And I've found as I've done that, that's given you security then too, and you often come and go, oh yeah, I got it wrong too, I'm sorry as well.
I take my cue off you though.
Yeah. And but I think it's part of a man's role is to be the first to acknowledge where you got it wrong, the first to say sorry. I'm not saying to appease. Some people say sorry just to appease the situation. If your partner's done something wrong, they need to acknowledge acknowledge their role in that. But just the whole thing of taking ownership.
Yeah, like a humility in a relationship's really important.
Yeah.
Like if you are there to win an argument, you've already lost.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, humility on both sides is really important. And I think that's how we've probably navigated all our disagreements is, I need to humble myself.
Yeah.
But then
you
I'm
need
waiting.
to go to God, I need to go to God. And when, God will tell us what we need to do.
No, were you going to say something else?
I was going to say, I normally say, Kathy, just go to God and God will tell you I'm right. No, just
wah, wah. Okay.
That doesn't really translate because there's no win lose. It's like if you think you've won the argument, you haven't won anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I won that. I nailed that. Man,
you nailed that, and now you're by yourself.
That's how it tends to work. Well, hope this is helpful. Hey, we'll do another session. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to Off Script with Sam Monk. If you found this podcast helpful, make sure you pass it on. We love your feedback, so drop us a line about what topics you'd like to hear about on Off Script with Sam Monk.